Me and my BF have been dating for 3 years and we essentially live together. Honestly, he's probably the best boyfriend I've ever had or will have. He's sweet, caring, romantic, like honestly everything any girl would want. My parents adore him. My friends always tell me how lucky I am, and I consider myself lucky too. He's also really close with his mom. That's great, right? A guy's relationship with his mom can tell a girl a lot. The thing is, he's not from the States. Him and his mom moved here by themselves, and it was only them two. So they're close. She lives 2 hours away, and he supports her financially. So the other day we were talking about the future, and I mentioned how would finances work with us two and kids if his mom takes up a chunk of his income. Well, he said that's not negotiable. I said I understand, but practically it might not work. So he just said bluntly, his mother will always be number one in his life. He loves me more than I can imagine, but I will always be secondary behind his mom. His bluntness was something I used to love about him. I didn't really know what to say. I've thought a lot about it, and there is no way this works out right. Regardless of how I feel about him, or what kind of guy he is, I can't be secondary in his life. And I've seen him with kids. My nieces and my friends' kids love him too. If we have kids, I'll be tertiary to his mom and our kids. TL. Doctor, I want to break up with my BF, because I won't be first in his life. Believe him when he says this, because he means it. If you cannot handle being second, which I wouldn't blame you, then you need to leave and find someone that would put you and any potential children first. You will not win this cultural difference, and it will only foster resentment and misery in you if you stay with him knowing this and knowing you will not be able to accept it. It's like for him blood relations come first and all of his other relations are secondary. No offense, but the amount of stories I read on Reddit, this is the best way. Or his mom always put him first, or went through some hard time for him, and it's his way of showing his gratitude. This issue is cultural, and has ramifications you aren't even aware of yet. Mom is number one in the household hierarchy of women. Not only does that mean your BF will continue to support her financially, and will put her first in every way, but he will also insist that she moves in with you when she decides she doesn't want to live on her own anymore. Once that happens, you will be second in the household hierarchy in your own home. She will be the boss. That's how it works. Once though, she will always come first. Words came out of his mouth. That's him telling you how it will be. If this isn't acceptable with you for the rest of your life, you should exit and find someone who will put you first. I agree very much. Hierarchy is the key word. He will love you, but in the family female hierarchy you won't be on top. This is common in some cultures, very big in Asia. He is being honest. Point, you can accept this or move along. It's a fact of life you won't change. Ugh, yes, I'm experiencing the same thing from my Asian mom, except I was born in the States and can see firsthand how my financial pressure to constantly help my mom has stunted my growth as an adult. Tried talking to her side of the family about it, but their answer was to just suck it up and continue doing it. So F asterisk 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 me, right? When his mother is unable to live alone, she will definitely be moving in with you if you marry this man, and he will expect you to look after his mother. There isn't anything wrong with that, but you need to consider if that is what you can handle in the future. It might not even go that long. I suspect she'll move in the second she's pregnant to help out, and then she'll of course be there forever. I'm Asian and this is so common in our culture. His mom and their kids will take priority over her. You should listen to your heart. No matter how great he is, this is something that will keep you from being happy with him. A similar situation happened with my parents, and trust me, my childhood was pretty difficult, and I still hear complaints from my mom about my dad. Some things are not negotiable, as he said. In this case, such a priority status from your partner is non-negotiable for you. You deserve what you truly want out of a relationship for happiness. This is a reasonable reason to break up. He's clear on his position. He will not change. I'm okay with being second behind the kids, not okay with being second behind the mother. I'd leave too. This is a very valid reason to end a relationship. He needs to find someone that's okay with being second to his mother. Good luck with that. Personally, I wouldn't be okay with that in a relationship, so I don't blame you for feeling the way you do. Leave. My father was the same. He spent money for his family, his sibling, etc. We as kids couldn't buy the things we wanted. My mother as well. I still have traumas because we had so little money. I had to wear clothes which didn't fit me. This is never going to work out. Leave him. It's definitely cultural, and I personally couldn't be second best in a relationship. Whether it be second to a parent or to someone else's child. Your feelings are valid, and if you continue, you may end up resenting both of them. If he wants to support her until her last breath, that's his prerogative, but it doesn't have to be for you. Good luck, op. You should still love his bluntness. He gave you all the info you need to realize you are nowhere near as lucky as you thought. It will hurt like a bitch. People won't understand it, but you gotta break up if he doesn't budge. There's cultural differences, in my opinion, just very selfish parenting, and he might even think that his mum should come live with you guys after you get married. I'm from a country like that. My mother even expects me to make her my priority. She constantly talks about living with me when I get married. Things like these are common. There's no way a man should be getting married without his wife being the priority. It's great that he's being so truthful, but have a long talk about this, and whatever happens, happens. It's for the best. You don't have to be first place, but at least be equal. Now if you're going to have any problems with her, he's not going to listen to you, because she is more important. If you both have an accident, he's going to her first. She will always be his number one. My mom, and dad and sister, is really important to me too, but I would absolutely stand up for any partner, if he deserves it. OFC. I don't think your boyfriend would do that for you. He completely dismisses your concern, because he wants to take care of his mother. I wouldn't want to be second to his mother. I wouldn't want our future, our kid's future, to come behind his mom. Some people might be on board with that, but I don't want to be partners with someone who views me as less than a partner. You should still love his bluntness, because he's telling you how it is, so you can make an informed decision if you want to deal with this or not. Nothing wrong with that. I would want a partner who bases decisions on what is best for us, and not his mom. He will be moving her in with you before you know it. Up that team. I married a man that always put his entire family before me. I didn't see the signs, and he talked such a good game before we got married, and then it changed after the wedding when he quit his job at their urging, and they all expected me to support him. Not what I signed up for at all. Ultimately, only you can decide what you want your life and relationship to be. For me, I chose to get out of the relationship less than 4 years after the wedding. I wish you the best. It is not an easy thing to deal with, in my opinion. If you want to read more stories of Mills that interfere in people's relationships, head over to Just Know Mill. There are a ton of stories and coping strategies. At the very least, I'm sure you'll find someone in the same boat and you can read about the outcomes they had. This is a tough one. Me, I won't take it. The umbilical cord has to be cut off. I'm a mother of 3 grown children and wouldn't want to be -1. Their partners and children are -1, and I'm content with that because it shows I did a good job as a mom. If you marry him anyway, knowing that you will be secondary in his life forever, then anything that happens to you in the future is your own fault because you were warned. I was in a relationship with someone like this. His mom immigrated here, and he not only supported her, but his grandmother, aunts, and occasionally, his brother. Putting family first wouldn't have been as big of a deal for me if we didn't have other major underlying issues, but we did, so that was just the cherry on top for me, and it was always a point of contention. If you really don't like it, and it's enough to turn you away from him, don't feel bad about wanting to leave. But if he's missed a point right and everything else is great, maybe talk to him about what really bothers you about the income. Is it that he's not spending enough on you? Are you too seeking to do something that is just out of your financial reach? Where is the root of the discomfort with him supporting his family financially? I hope this helps. Best of luck. That would be a deal breaker for me. Did you ask him further what he meant, that his mother would always come first? Dump him, yes. Cause if 40% of his income goes to his mom, he can't afford kids, which you want. You need to be first. Missed the part where they said it's 40% of his income. I don't blame you. I couldn't live in a situation where I always knew I was number 2. I've been in a similar situation, although it was definitely never admitted openly. We'd be on the phone and most times interrupted by a phone call from his mom. He would immediately mute me and answer the phone, no questions asked. I think one time I was upset/crying and he still answered the phone to his parents and it wasn't even important. Culture difference my asterisk though, it was just plain rude and it definitely played a part in me being unhappy in the relationship. But this is different for you, since it's more of a financial thing. If it's like this now it will always be like that, so either accept it or don't be together, because the resentment will definitely build up if you leave it. I would cut my losses and leave. It doesn't matter how perfect he is in every other way, his priorities are not something you can live with, and that is a perfectly acceptable reason to end things amicably. Personally, I no longer date outside of my culture. There's nothing wrong with his way of thinking, and a woman from his culture may be able to live with it as she might think similarly. However, if your values don't align, you're never gonna be able to build a successful life together without resentment. Lots of issues can be worked through within a couple, but something like this is just a deal breaker in my opinion. When your values are different, there's no talking it out. He'll always put her first. You'll always feel rejected and resentful. End things before it's even harder to do so. Your BF is being honest. Their mommy will always be ahead of you. Do not get married to this one or have children with your BF. You will live a life of misery. Mommy of your BF will take over how children should be raised, what kind of mommy you ought to be. It will go way beyond the financial abuse of putting you last behind everyone else. And when mom decides to move in with you and family, you will be made a servant in your own home. As soon as any children arrive, mom of BF will be in the mix taking over. Your opinion will never be accepted or respected. This is a cultural thing. I'm not from the US. I worked hard to retire my parents back home, and I, together with my siblings, will always provide for them. That's not negotiable. Luckily my BF is also from my culture, so he understands, and he helps his parents as well. We are raised differently, and it's unacceptable for us to leave our parents or put them in retirement homes. If you can't accept it, I'll advise to leave, because you will eventually resent him and her. Also, this doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It's two different types of loves. I'm from the US and I'd never put my mom in a retirement home or leave her to fend for herself. I think the issue is that she won't ever be seen as equal, and yet she's his partner and would have eventually been family. Say goodbye and just leave. He is telling you the truth. Just leave. You right will have you don't know that, as none knows the future. I'm pretty sure you can find someone that's just as great, if not greater, if you decide to move on.